averaging 4 kills per set in the tournament as compared to just 3.5 during the regular season.
Well, she leads the team in kills. Her Nittany Lions coming in at 27-5 overall. They were tied for second in the Big Ten. They took down a very feisty Cincinnati team in 5 sets to face off against the Stanford Cardinal. And how about a way to start for the Nittany Lions? Gabby Blossom, the sophomore setter, with the service ace.
And you better believe that's a good way to start for Penn State, because last night, serving was a story, and not for the right reason. Last night, Penn State had 4 aces to 16 errors. Coach said, we serve terribly, to be blunt, and so they'd like to turn that around.
That one bouncing off, and the point goes in favor of the Stanford Cardinal. The Cardinal, the Pac-12 champions for the 3rd year in a row, as Madeline Gates is one of those new faces to the program, a graduate transfer who moved in from UCLA to come over to Stanford to play her final season. Gabby Blossom in the middle, setting Serena Gray. Gray, an All-American honorable mention out of Temple City, California. And Gray is a part of that 3-headed monster or trio for the Nittany Lions.
Also a big part of that sophomore class that includes Alice and Kathy. And if you notice early in this one, 22 in blue, Alice and Kathy playing for the first time this season in an NCAA tournament match. She was a mainstay in the lineup all year, but has been day-to-day because of an injury.
Watch out for Kathy, a powerful attacker from the pin. On the serve, Gray. Holly Campbell on the slide, and Holly Campbell, also a sophomore in her 2nd season out of Austin, Texas, registers the kill.
Very different teams in that Stanford loaded with seniors. That's one of the rare underclassmen for Stanford. That is not the story for Penn State, as we mentioned. Few seniors for Penn State, with a lot of underclassmen contributing.
Blossom setting Kathy. Kathy ran into the block of Catherine Plummer and the likes, but that one goes down for Johnny Parker.
And I think Johnny Parker would admittedly say she got off to a slow start last night, so it's good to see her hitting heavy here early in this one.
You think about from last year to this year and how she's performed. We touched on it in the Open from the NCAA tournament. She's led the way throughout this postseason for the Nittany Lions. Gabby Blossom, the center to Parker. Once again, she had 17 kills last night. She's 2 for 2 tonight.
She's an interesting story in that we talked about the fact this is a rematch from last year. And in this particular region a year ago, Johnny Parker had 11 kills against Stanford, 10 kills the night before against Washington. Didn't have a great performance. Coach said he was too hard on her in that region last year.
Adriana Fitzmaurice, another All-American for the Stanford Cardinal, and the senior out of Overland Park, Kansas, gets her first kill.
It was Adriana Fitzmaurice who joined Catherine Plummer, who will now be serving for Stanford in double-digit kills last night. Fitzmaurice with 10, of course, Plummer with 29.
Good swing there from Tori Gurrell. Gurrell, a player who has really stepped up her game, has transitioned, changed, and adjusted to all the different positions she's had to play as a Nittany Lion. And last night, she was terrific with 15 kills, hitting at a 519 clip.
And doing it from the outside. When you talk about adjusting her game and transitioning, she's a former middle blocker for this team. So a lot has been asked of her.
We know that points will be traded back and forth. This time, number 4 in white, Megan McClure, an All-Pacific North Region selection with a kill. Out of the middle, Caitlin Horde, the Cardinal there, trying to adjust. Fitzmaurice, that one tight to the net pass from Kendall White. Gurrell, too strong, but it was touched last by Stanford. And Penn State right now out to a 7-4 lead early.
Coach said that part of the transitioning of Gurrell's game was learning to hit hard and high, and that is a great example of that right there. That's as hard and high. Go for those hands.
The 2-time Libra of the Year out of the Big Ten. Kendall White for Penn State could not get to that one in time.
And that's a frustrating point for Penn State because they got an excellent serve from Kendall White. It looked like Stanford was out of system, but sometimes when Catherine Plummer is on your side of the net, out of system doesn't look so ugly. And that's what Catherine Plummer can do as the reigning National Player of the Year.
That one too strong from Kate Formico. Again, we mentioned just how important serving will be for both teams, an area where you mentioned already. Russ Rose says he was not pleased with, and you see 4 aces compared to just 6 errors for Stanford last night.
Penn State said, we just made things way too hard on ourselves, missing serves in critical moments. And I think that's what's key.
What a wonderful shot selection from Megan McClure. They were expecting her to go hard. Instead, she changes the speed.
You better believe it. They were expecting her to go hard. They had 3 blockers up. That's how hard they were expecting her to go. But you better know that Megan McClure is very aware of the court. One of the smartest players. Coach says perhaps one of the most underrated players in the game.
Goes side of All-American is McClure. Net violation on Stanford. And Penn State gets the point.
And that was Catherine Plummer as she looks straight to her teammates and says, my fault there. And she makes that motion of next point. Move on, roll it under the net, let's keep going.
Gabby Blossom, the 5'9" setter from St. Louis. And off the hands, Madeline Gates, who started things off for Stanford, gets another kill.
Madeline Gates was absolutely fantastic last night. She had 8 kills without a single error. She hit .571. Remember, she is the UCLA transfer who just joined the Stanford crowd this year.
So thus far, we've seen an alternation of points, but back-to-back ones registered from Stanford. They're within 1.
And it'll be Sydney Wilson again, their junior defensive specialist, who goes back to put it in play.
Out of Toronto. And Serena Gray out of the middle. She is just one of those players who is happy to be playing this time of year because last year she missed the tournament with an injury.
That's right, because she was out, Tori Gorell thrown into the lineup at the middle blocker positions. This is her first NCAA tournament on the outside and Serena Gray's first NCAA tournament ever.
Plummer goes up the block from Penn State. Here's Johnny Parker, who took something off of it as well, and Parker celebrates, and that's something that Coach Russ Rose likes to see from his sophomore right side in his 41st season as head coach, and he's going for career win 1,300 tonight.
When Coach described Johnny's game this year, he said she has better awareness of shot selection. That was a great example of her awareness.
Kathy off the touch, and the Nittany Lions up 12-8. Hambly, Kevin Hambly on the other side for Stanford in his 3rd season. The success that he's had since taking over for John Dunning, won a national championship last year with this group, and they're hoping to go back-to-back again. Plays like that from Catherine Plummer, your 2-time National Player of the Year, certainly help in your quest.
And if you're wondering about the rematch of the regional final from a year ago, it was Penn State who won set 1. Stanford took the next 3 to be victorious in that match.
And we witnessed something interesting from Stanford because Utah had them on the ropes. They lost that first set. But then they just put something on the gas, and they took off and turned things around mightily.
The scary thing about this group of seniors for Stanford is that they seem to have another gear that they can just decide to shift into. And it's scary that they can look at each other and sort of make a decision like, we gotta have this set. And when they make that decision, I don't know if they can be stopped.
And we heard Kevin Hambly talk to his team before tonight's match to say, hey, let's just go. Let's put it full throttle. Let's not leave any slack in the line. Morgan Hintz, Jenna Gray, Adriana Fitzmaurice, All-American to All-American to All-American.
And by the way, she's an academic All-American.
Nicely thrown in there as a human biology major is Adriana Fitzmaurice.
She is actually a TA for one of her classes. That just blows my mind. The load that you have as a student athlete, and she is a TA for, I literally have to read this off my paper. She's a TA for virtual and real human anatomy and sports injury, folks. Wow.
I saw an awesome piece on their website just following her the day of. She even had a chance to bring in her brother, signed him up for the class, a couple of teammates as well. So she's trying to bring everybody to the party.
Yeah, I caught a glimpse of Catherine Plummer in that classroom, and then of course her brother Keenan, who is a redshirt freshman on the basketball team here at Stanford.
There, Fitzmaurice absolutely denied on that right side. The block of Penn State coming up big. They had 14 and a half last night against Cincinnati.
Blocks were a big part of the story. Penn State 14 and a half sounds like a great number, but how about Stanford with 21 blocks last night? Of course, those were both 5-set matches.
The tip, and what a dive from Jenna Holcomb to keep it alive, but the rally ends as Catherine Plummer with another kill. She's got 4 tonight. Both teams hitting at an outstanding clip, 588 for Stanford and 625 for Penn State. With a touch, the Stanford players wanted it, but Penn State is awarded the point. And the 11 seed Nittany Lions up by 3 will. And the winner of this one will go on to face the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Interestingly enough, missing, both of these teams faced off against Minnesota earlier this season, and they both came up on the losing side.
You know, with the Minnesota sweep and then, of course, the Wisconsin sweep of Nebraska for the 3rd time this season, half of the national semifinalists already hail from Big Ten country.
Potential to see a 3rd Big Ten team in Pittsburgh if Penn State is able to walk out of here with a win.
It's hard to believe that Tori Gurrell earlier this season in their 3-2 win at Pitt had 0 kills in that match. How she has grown and expanded her game in this new role. Coach said even though she's in a new role, she's having her best volleyball season here as a redshirt senior.
Fitzmaurice tried it down the line. She couldn't get it. Point Penn State. So they widen their lead to 5 now as Parker back to serve as they're on a 5-1 run. Parker, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year from a season ago. That one off the net. Goes over. Out of the middle is Holly Campbell.
And you see when Stanford gets the perfect pass, how dangerous they are because of the number of weapons they have. It's hard to get a double block up in the middle against Holly Campbell when you're so worried about what could be happening at the pins.
Morgan Hintz on the serve. Caitlin Horde out of the middle. Nice pass and assist. As Caitlin Horde, a part of that heralded freshman class from a year ago.
And perhaps the biggest challenge for Gabby Blossom is to set her middles high enough to let them do their thing. They sky above the net. Perhaps the most scary 1-2 punch of middles in the Big Ten Conference, and folks, they're only sophomores.
A lot more volleyball ahead of them as Gray thought about it. Going over in 2 is Gabby Blossom. Well played from the sophomore. Looks like his team has a great opportunity, and he talked to us about just how different of a look this group is as compared to years past. And we talked about it last night, the fact that, you know, their outside hitters, outside of Tori Gurrell, have not maybe produced at the level as we've seen in years past. So to have an offense that runs through middles is kind of unique.
It puts a lot of pressure on your passing, though. And so luckily, the older players on this team are the players that are involved in their serve, receive, and their defense, because there's a whole lot of pressure on them to pass the ball well, because 2 of the top 3 producers on this Penn State team are their middle blockers, and the third is their right side attacker. Tori Gurrell, you see right there on the left side, playing in that new position this year, is right there behind them and is improving as the season has gone on, but it does put a lot of pressure on your defense when you know you have to get the ball to the middle in big moments.
Blossom to Gurrell, and Gurrell, who just soared over, and it looked like it was an old slide that she used to run as a middle.
You better believe it. That was beautiful. And this is the luxury of having a former middle blocker play on the outside for you. A double quick look as they send Gurrell behind, and what a natural swing for her.
Gray gets it over to Gates, who puts it down.
A slide from Penn State, and Gates answers with a slide of her own.
Madeline Gates, who was an All-American in 2017, who has really boosted this group from the middle position, and just a nice add-on to the Cardinal.
As if they needed add-ons, right?
Bump set from Kendall White, the libero in the white jersey for Penn State. That goes out. Stanford now closing in, trailing by 4. Megan McClure, who delivered and scored the final 2 points in last night's 5-set win over Utah. Listen, Kathy, and right there as Morgan hits off the block, goes out of bounds. Point Stanford. Morgan Hintz, though, one of those players that you just enjoy talking about. Number 9 in black in the libero jersey. She's just a delight to watch. Fun, grabs you in, career digs leader for this Stanford program.
If you watched the tournament a year ago, she's a player you would remember. She had a career-high 32 digs in the championship match last year. She was the most outstanding player of that tournament from the libero position.
And did you see that shot from Catherine Plummer, who just kind of whisked it off the hands?
Last 2 swings from Catherine Plummer, so smart. A hit off of the block, out of bounds, and now a push off the hands of...
That's next Thursday on our ESPN family of networks.
Serving staff number 4, Megan McClure.
McClure, the 6-foot junior, on the serve. Out of the middle is Gray, couldn't get to it in time, and Serena Gray with another kill tonight. She's 3 for 4, excuse me.
And of course, where's the kill come from? The middle, but credit the passing for Penn State. Coach said last night our passing was terrible, or excuse me, our serving was terrible. Our passing always gave us a chance.
There's Plummer, Kendall White with the overpass. Tried to go over in 2. The Nittany Lions were ready. Kathy. Send that right side attacker in Madeline Gates. And Gates from the right pin.
The second ball over from Jenna Gray was too easy, and I thought Penn State was going to have a golden opportunity there, but they don't capitalize, and you give Stanford a second chance, and you better believe they're going to find a way to get it to the floor.
Parker approaches, took something off of it. Gray pushes it to the left pin. Parker unloads again. Deep court shot from Johnny Parker. And she is pacing the way for the Nittany Lions.
Look at the dig from Kendall White, flying into right back. And what I love about Kendall White is she comes up with digs that allow her team to transition into offense. That is what is huge. Her balls are so playable.
She had 14 digs last night for the back-to-back Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. She's not on the court currently. And perhaps if she was, maybe she would have got to it instead. A little miscommunication on the back row. It's 22-20 now.
And you are so right. That is how much they miss Kendall White. That is literally a point that they would have had were she on the court in that one half of a rotation, Stanford able to score a point.
She means that much because she's a player, much like Morgan Hintz on the other side. They cover so much ground when they're out there. Plummer gets it down the seam.
And chalk up an assist to Adriana Fitzmaurice. In the earlier rounds of the tournament, Coach said we talked a lot about communication. When we're scrambling, can we still create good swings? That's what a good swing looks like in a scramble situation.
This one drops. It's tied at 22 all. Morgan Hintz right there coming sliding in. Catherine Plummer with the touch. Set point now for the Stanford Cardinal. Maples Pavilion starting to rock. The overkill! Plummer! And Stanford wins set one. A 6-0 run for the Cardinal. To end the set, they come roaring back from 6 points.
Penn State not giving away points, absolutely making Stanford earn it.
And if you're the Nittany Lions, Johnny Parker had 6 kills leading the way. You're winning the service battle from what you did the night before. You're hitting at a 371 clip. How do they come back and adjust? Well, there's an answer. You go through the middle like you've done all season with Caitlin Ward.
More of the middle. And what stood out to me at the end of that first set, I thought there were a few timid attempts from Penn State, some tip shots late in that first set. They have to stay aggressive. Catherine Plummer ended it with a tip shot, but it wasn't a timid tip shot. It was an intelligent tip shot, and there's a difference.
Stanford gets the point.
Looks like the under the net call on Penn State. And again, you can go back and credit that to smart placement by Catherine Plummer. She put them in an awkward position to try to make a play on that tip shot that's, again, not a timid tip shot, a very intelligent tip shot.
Gabby Blossom to Ward. Here's Plummer. Plummer, who had 9 kills in the first set, has a couple here.
And that's a great transition play because they're asking Catherine Plummer to come in and help block in the middle. Much needed against this middle attack coming from Penn State. But because of that, she's not able to get all the way outside the court. Jenna Gray knows exactly where her hitter is and sets one inside that she can take a swing at.
And the service ace for Sydney Wilson.
Sydney Wilson painting the back line. Great drop on that serve.
Blossom runs to it. Johnny Parker. McClure passes it over. And out of the middle, Holly Campbell. And that was kept all because of Megan McClure.
You're exactly right. That's where I was going, Tiffany. Look at the transition dig from Stanford. It started with the touch block at the net. Megan McClure in perfect position, not to just make a play on that ball, but a beautiful transition dig. And here comes Holly Campbell quickly, as she is. All their attackers do such a great job of getting off the net and being prepared to take a swing.
And the block goes out of bounds. Penn State gets the point. And so they side out, and now they have an opportunity. One of their senior leaders, and Kendall White, is back to serve. Let's see what type of pressure she can put on the Cardinal. Campbell again. And Holly Campbell, 4 kills on 6 attacks tonight to go along with a couple of blocks.
And so far tonight, Holly Campbell without a single error. She's hitting .667 after last night's performance where she had 5 kills that had 5 errors to go along with it and hit 0.
Jenna Gray, the 2-time All-American, gets the service ace and ring it up for the 3-time Pac-12 Setter of the Year.
And Catherine Plummer pointed out yesterday, this is a team who's worked really hard on serving fast and flat. And she said it's been a long time since we've missed in the net. If we're going to miss long. We're at least going to make those passers have to make a decision. And that was a great example of that on that serve from Jenna Gray.
Gray on the other side handles it. And going up against him, Tor Gurrell, counter with another block. Gurrell now hitting 1,000 for the night. She's 6 for 6, and Gurrell is continuing another wonderful run in this NCAA tournament. This match tonight against Stanford.
Batting 1,000 as a redshirt senior.
On the pass, tight to the net, Blossom gets it over. Dug out. And hit over by Johnny Parker. Hits with the rear set, and Catherine Plummer says, that's no problem.
And the interesting thing about this set, Tiffany, is it's a 1-foot set because Morgan Hintz knows exactly where she is on the court. Look at that. She can't step over the 3-meter line and play the ball above her head. Holds the left foot in the air just long enough, and the perfect touch from the libero. Beautiful.
I think for both sides, honestly, and if you're an elite level volleyball player, the type of quick decision making that you have to have, being smart, being aware of where you are on the court, just speaks volumes. And as a non-volleyball player, I enjoy watching.
I'll tell you what, I just jinxed Catherine Plummer talking about how they haven't missed in the net in a long time, and she just did it. So I'm sorry, Catherine, that one's on me.
Fitzmaurice from the right pin. We mentioned she had 10 kills last night against Utah. She has the ability at her 6'6" stature to have played both through the right side and middle blocker at points. Touch from Gray. Hintz is there. Off the hands, last touch by Clark, and it drops. Megan McClure, one of the unsung heroes from this group, and she says, you know, there's so many weapons on this team, and oftentimes I'm the one to get the last ball. So she got it last night against Utah and did so when they took down Nebraska for their 8th national championship a season ago. And then the block there, Adriana Fitzmaurice.
Adriana Fitzmaurice, only the 9th in school history to record 900+ blocks. That's how it's done, folks. Look at her as she goes up strong above her head, turning that one back in bounds.
Now remember, Penn State was out to a 6-point lead in that first set before Stanford came roaring back. What do the Nittany Lions have in store? That'll help get them one step closer on the service error. Serena Gray back to serve.
I think it's interesting that Serena Gray and the other offensive players for this Penn State team are all the ones who serve. None of the defensive specialists go to the service line for Russ Rose this year, and I think that speaks to the importance of passing on this team where they're so reliant on their middle blockers. So if you think about all their serve pass sessions over the course of the season, they're never asking those passers to spend time at the service line. They are always passing balls. That's how key the passing part of the game is to Penn State's success.
Part of the reason why Penn State is moving with their middles as Johnny Parker tools the block is the fact that they graduated a couple of outside hitters in Mia Reed and Taylor Leith a season ago, in addition to their sitter Brianna Weiskircher.
Of course, Nia Reed and Leaf and Johnny Parker, the big three last year here in this regional for Penn State, they only returned one, and Johnny Parker, while Plummer, McClure, and Fitzmaurice all had double-digit kills in that regional final match a year ago, and they're all on the court again for Stanford.
But we've seen how this Penn State team continues to fight. You mentioned earlier in the Open, they faced several top 10 opponents. Their losses have come to those teams in the top 10. And right now, it's Stanford on cruise control. They are getting offense from every area.
Yeah, that's it right there, Tiffany. Just too many options.
727 hitting percentage for Stanford so far in this second set. Nice dig by McClure. Free ball over, and now Penn State with an opportunity out of the middle, and saved once more by McClure. Tori Gurrell going up, and she gets it. And that's exactly what Gurrell and Penn State has to continue to go at those high hands of Stanford.
But Megan McClure doing all the small things that make her Megan McClure. Realize on the Stanford bench, Kendall Kipp is a tremendous talent as a freshman at the outside hitter position. She played in the absence of Catherine Plummer, went 9-1 with this team in the absence of Catherine Plummer at the outside hitter position. There were people who thought she would beat Megan McClure out of a spot. But coach said, how do you take Megan off the floor?
Wow.
You just can't.
When you look at a player like Kendall White, how do you keep that ball alive to keep this rally going? And Plummer, who you mentioned, missed 10 matches with an undisclosed injury, terminates it here.
And on this one, it's happening right in front of us, and we can hear Morgan Hintz giving Catherine Plummer feedback, telling her exactly where to go with the ball. When you have a senior libero with that much experience, it's like having eyes in the back of your head. What a luxury.
And to think this Stanford group still was able to find great success without her. She was gone from October 4th to November 3rd, but since she's come back, her Stanford Cardinal have won 4 in a row, and they lead here big in set 2. Everything is going down as, whew, this is a wonderful, wonderful day for volleyball already. 3 teams have advanced to the national semifinals.
And you know that all 3 of those teams are watching this and perhaps cringing at the thought of facing the defending national champion in Stanford with the way they're playing right now.
Tori Gurrell gets that one to go off of Megan McClure, and Gurrell is continuing to help carry this Penn State team throughout the tournament.
8 kills now for Tori Gurrell on 9 swings. What an impressive tournament she's had.
Holly Campbell rips it down.
And the delivery from Jenna Gray, we just balls just time and time again as she goes up, sees that middle blocker for Penn State, makes the right choice behind, and gives Holly Campbell a beautiful one-on-one opportunity. Jenna Gray, the 3-time Pac-12 setter of the year, 3-time Pac-12, All-American selection. The list goes on and on.
And Gurrell once more. Tori Gurrell out of Ontario, Canada, who is having herself a night thus far. Near double-digit kills for the Nittany Lions. Here she is with the pass, bump set from White. Lauren Clark going up. And going back to Jenna Gray and just the way she distributes the ball, delivers it to her teammates. She's not only an All-American on the volleyball court, but she's a 3-time track and field All-American, a javelin thrower. She is an outstanding athlete all the way around, has Olympic aspirations even.
Yeah, and she really appreciated the fact that Coach Hamby allowed her to give the javelin a shot. And I love the fact that she said, I now have so many teammates at Stanford, hundreds of teammates. When you think about the number of people on the track and field team and her volleyball team, what an amazing experience she has had as a collegiate athlete.
They say she's the prankster of this group. Likes to have a lot of fun, the 6'1" senior out of Shawnee, Kansas.
And that beautiful braid, compliments of Morgan Hintz. She said Morgan braids her hair before every match, and it always has to be the same.
It's, of course, being Jenna Gray's teammate, and they're seemingly inseparable. They spend, I don't know how many hours of the day together, but it's a lot.
4th year as roommates this year, and they said that in their particular dorm this year, their beds were in separate rooms, and they contemplated putting them in one room together, but they thought that might be a little strange. So this is their baby step in separation, that their beds are actually in different rooms this year.
Gray to hits on the bump set, and Adriana Fitzmaurice. And there is Gates out of the middle, smacking it down.
And when we talk about the composure of this team who's been on the big stage for so long, Gates, new to the group this year, has held her own, and the composure she plays with is impressive. And you have to think that there's a little different level of drive in her play, as she would certainly like to be included in that list of national champions like the rest of these girls.
Lauren Clark, 1 in blue, celebrates after the kill.
And Lauren Clark, very limited playing time over the course of the season, played last night in place of Alice and Kathy. Had a nice match with 4 kills and 2 blocks.
First-year player out of Minnesota. Morgan Hintz trying to get to it, not in time, so Penn State now trailing by 7. The Nittany Lions need a strong run here from behind the service line.
And Serena Gray can do it. She had 3 aces last night, Tiffany.
McClure off the hands. And you kind of get the sense that Stanford says, okay, so you want me to turn on and keep it going? Okay, no problem.
Megan McClure actually said we're shifting to another gear in the tournament. She hit 270 last year as a freshman, only 230 this year. But realize she played several weeks on a sprained ankle, wasn't even practicing during those weeks.
And Horde with the smart shot there. Took a little something off of it and found the soft spot of the defense. Caitlin Horde, the sophomore out of Lexington, Kentucky. They need more of that from her. This Stanford group seeking their 9th national championship in school history. Gorell. Kept alive by McClure, Hintz, and then they get it over. Now it's Johnny Parker's chance. Plummer. No doubt about it.
But the play above the head by Megan McClure early in that rally extends this rally, and it works to Stanford's benefit as finally Catherine Plummer puts that one away. Tough luck.
And there are players like Gabby Blossom on that bump set who respond to that tough love. Meanwhile, nice response from the Cardinal and Catherine Plummer.
4.5 blocks now for Stanford, 1 for Penn State.
McClure is right there, the overpass, and Gorell says, watch out now.
And with that swing, Tori Gorell, the first Penn State player to double-digit kills at 10, second in the match behind Catherine Plummer, who has 14 right now. But it's Tori Gorell who's hitting 750.
She is playing out of her mind tonight, and Johnny Parker says, all right, we're going to win it. And if we're going to win it, we can help ourselves from the service line.
I'll tell you what, if Johnny Parker was at all displeased with her performance last year at this regional, she has made up for it. She has come out swinging tonight.
Can the Nittany Lions continue that momentum? Dug out there by Holcomb. And Gurrell going hard again. Catherine Plummer back the other way. Kendall White with an awesome save, overpass. Here's Madeline Gates. And Gates gives Stanford set point. As the Cardinals look to close out Penn State in this second frame. Gabby Blossom over to Tori Gurrell, dug out there by Formico. Plummer ended the last set. She does it here in set two.
That is how good this Stanford group of seniors is, and they have got an opportunity to make some history. They're looking like they've got their sights set on another national semifinal and trying to go for 3 out of 4. Not many groups can say that they have a second opportunity to repeat. They had that opportunity as sophomores. Catherine Plummer said, we let the moment be too big. And they learned a lesson from that, and they have not let the moment be too big tonight.
I'll tell you, Kevin Hambley has had so much. It's a national treasure here to work with at the Stanford program with the level of talent that he's seen, but he knows the guy on the other side by the name of Russ Rose was able to pull off back-to-back wins. Not once, but twice. Penn State last did it in 2013 and then again in 14.
And that coming after their four-peat. It was 07, 08, 09, and 2010.
Nice dig there by Jenna Holcomb, kept alive and pushed over by Lauren Clark. Gates continuing to have herself a very good night. 8 kills on 11 attacks, no errors, hitting .727.
Yeah, I think she'll take that.
Gabby Blossom to Serena Gray, and Gray finishes it off. Gray was just a really physically strong athlete, one of those top-rated players in the country coming out of high school from Temple City, California, near the Los Angeles area. Joust at the net. Who wins it? Jenna Gray. Interestingly enough, Jenna Gray last night had a career high. She matched her career high with 8 blocks to go along with the 52 assists against the Utah Utes. And we talked, well, how difficult is it to beat a team 3 times in the season? It was Utah that pushed them on this court without Catherine Plummer back in October. Plummer returned. They won it in Salt Lake City. And then they had to do it again. And they had to fight for every point.
Yeah, they did. And, Coach Hambley said, we got the match we expected. They know us well. We know them well. We knew they would fight till the very end. A very interesting team to play in Utah with 2 left-handed players. The angles they create on their attack, they are hard to defend. And those are juniors. They'll be back.
Hats off to Beth Lanier on the outstanding season for the Utes. Morgan Hintz is right there. Kept alive by Jenna Gray, and then Holly Campbell. Even out of system, even out of whack, they make it look good.
The relationship and the trust on this team, because early in that rally, Catherine Plummer could have made a stab at the ball, and right there she lets Hintz play it. She trusts Hintz to be there. Jenna Gray with one hand trusts Holly Campbell to be in the air. The communication and the trust on this team is at such a high level.
Ford gets it to go back down. They cut the lead in half.
Ford, I think, actually early on that attack, and it works to her advantage. She hits the ball on her way down, so block timing is off as well.
folks, if you're just tuning in, Missy Whittemore, Tiffany Green here with you from the Stanford Regional. Penn State was up by 6 points in that first set before Stanford closed it out on an 11-2 run. Catherine Plummer had 9 kills in that first set alone, and then they took control in that last set.
25-15 in favor of Stanford in set 2 as they put their foot on the gas pedal.
Gabby Blossom to Horde, kept alive by McClure. There's a diving Gray. Blossom to 9 in blue. That's Johnny Parker, watches it bounce now.
But you sure can appreciate the effort by Morgan Hintz there, who had a near dig to keep that play alive. I thought it was interesting. Coach said of Morgan Hintz, how do I give her the freedom to take full advantage of her talent as I coach her? You know, that's the question he has as a coach when he's coaching the athletes the level of Morgan Hintz and Jenna Gray.
Out of that back row, too strong from Johnny Parker. Well, the area on the court for Morgan Hintz, they like to call Hintzville, because she just covers so much space. Originally out of Lakeside Park, Kentucky, which is really a Cincinnati suburb. And she says, that belongs to my entire family. Yeah, I know, that was Catherine Plummer. She did an amazing job out of the back row. Okay, yep. That was business as usual.
Yes.
But with Morgan Hintz, a family of 6, she is just one of those players with such drive and dedication. She's so competitive, but also compassionate as well. That one was too tough for her to get to. But Hintz, who has a brother, younger brother by the name of Louie. Louie, if you're watching, what's up? Hello, lots of love to you. Your Pac-12 Scholar Athlete of the Year on the screen is your sister. Louie has autism, so had a brain tumor when he was younger, just 1 or 2 years old, and she says, you know what, my job was just to be a friend, and she's certainly a friend on the court for her Stanford teammates.
And in response to that, she's chosen to major in psychology, and this year at Stanford, they had a neurodiversity match that Morgan Hintz was a big part of, and I just love to see these young players use their platforms for such good, and Morgan Hintz certainly doing that.
And Madeline Gates continuing her hot night and hot hand.
And the distribution from Jenna Gray, just incredible, as again you see that Penn State blocker cheating to the outside. Jenna Hintz chooses to go behind. These slide plays have consistently been one-on-one blocker opportunities for Madeline Gates.
I think the question that we had coming in, Missy, with the matches from earlier, Baylor won in 4 sets. Wisconsin swept Nebraska. Minnesota did the same of Louisville. What would we see here tonight?
2 5-setters last night here on this floor. We were ready to go the distance, and perhaps that will still be the case, but Penn State definitely has a hole to dig out of.
And look, if you're the Nittany Lions, you're playing a good match. It's not like you're not doing the things that you need to do. You're hitting above 300. Maybe not as strong at the net tonight with the blocks as you were a night before. But the service line is the area where Russ Rose said, I'm concerned. And with that kill, Madeline Gates registers her 10th kill. So now 2 Cardinal in double digits.
Jenna Gray has been an absolute master tonight of spreading the ball around. She has so many options that as a setter, that in itself at times could almost become a problem. But she has been masterful in using her weapons at the correct time.
Hintz kept alive. And going over on two, and Gabby Blossom certainly loves to do that. She had success last night, and there she does again.
The sophomore, who I think will certainly take the place of Kendall White next year as the heart and soul of this team, a fiery personality like Kendall White. She's really trying to get something going here.
Mentioned last year was primarily a defensive specialist. Weiskircher took her under her wing for her to be able to learn and now operate this offense. Such fluid motion from Catherine Plummer.
But you see the fact that there's absolutely no reaction to the block on the first swing. Her team just picks it up, no big deal. And Catherine Plummer said, you know, I play every day in a gym against Adriana Fitzmaurice and Madeline Gates. I do get blocked. You know, that's not a new thing. And so they know how to respond to that.
The lift called on Stanford, and Penn State gets the point. Good serve there from Gray. Dug out by Holcomb. Plummer gets another crack at it between two sliding Penn State defenders.
And you see her turn this one down the line. Just all the shots in the book, using the entire court.
And you see Kendall White showing that leadership, the libero for Penn State, saying, come on, ladies, we can do this. Let's get back in it. Jenna Gray with the service ace. You think as a freshman, she came in playing maybe halfway through the season. They were running a 6-2. They decided to move to a 5-1, and she got the keys to this offense. John Dunning says, I believe in you. You can do it. And wow, has she ever come on and emerged. With that, we'll have a break. I hope you're not tired of this. An awesome display of volleyball.
One of the lives that's been saved.
Join ESPN and the V Foundation in the fight against cancer. Visit v.org/donate. All donations benefit the V Foundation for Cancer Research. Jenna Gray serves it coming out of the break. Gabby Blossom to Caitlin Hoare. Gray sets the middle, and Holly Campbell.
Another great set selection from Jenna Gray. And again, you're going to see Holly Campbell get a look against really just one block across the net from her. This is such a team of veterans. Holly Campbell, a sophomore, a real youngster on this one. And then you take a look at Penn State's lineup on the floor right now. All sophomores, aside from a freshman in Clark and a senior in Kendall White. Two teams in very different situations right now in terms of veteran play.
But you know, just with the tradition and legacy of this Penn State program, we'll expect to see them right in this point, if not farther, next season, as Tori Burrell is trying to make the most of her last.
And there's a senior stepping up to the plate right there. Realize this Penn State team is still hitting over 300 on the match, hitting 314. That's a fantastic number. And yet they find themselves trailing Stanford 0-2 and 9-16 in the third, because Stanford, folks, on the match is hitting 547.
And the point goes to Stanford. You think about Wisconsin and the gauntlet of the schedule, think about Penn State and the gauntlet of the schedule that they've gone through, facing off against teams like Wisconsin. They were in a three-way tie for second. The Badgers went on to win the conference, but there are already 2 Big Ten teams that we'll see next week in the national semifinals. Great effort there by Holcomb coming in with the one-handed save. Parker somehow able to get that one over, keeping the rally going. Catherine Plummer, too strong, and Penn State is looking for a comeback.
Penn State has had a brutal schedule as well. They only have 5 losses on the season, and all of those come to teams in the top 10, as you see just a slight miss there by Catherine Plummer. But realize, if Stanford were to advance, one of their losses this season is to Minnesota, and that is who they would meet up with.
Stephanie Samadee leading the way for the Golden Gophers, and Hugh McCutcheon helping the program make their 6th national semifinal. That one bounced in, so close to the line. Morgan Hintz sees it drop inside. And a rush thing or two about championships, as Alicia Glass-Childress, a 3-time national champ with the Penn State Nittany Lions, as they went on a 4-peat run during the mid to late 2000s. A phenomenal setter for Russ Rose.
A 3-time All-American, but she now finds herself on the Stanford bench, as she is married to a former Stanford basketball player, living out here on the West Coast now. And what a great pickup that is for this Stanford staff.
And Kevin Hambley said she has been so important in continuing the growth and progression of Jenna Gray, and also just relating to the players. And just to her left, this is her first season for Alicia Glass-Childress. Then that's Denise Corlett, who has helped to hold everything together. 31 seasons on the farm. She's seen both John Dunning, the legendary coach, and now Kevin Hambley at the helm.
Talk about the glue of a program through multiple head coaches. She has been a constant, so involved in the recruiting aspect of these players, and a big piece of the puzzle here on the farm.
Meanwhile, Kevin Hambley, who came over from Illinois, guided the Illini to their first ever national championship match, found himself with the title with the Stanford Cardinal last season. And Serena Gray has something to cheer about, gives the Nittany Lion fans some excitement here. They're trailing by 7.
And number 14, Kristen Krause, into the match here in the 3rd set to put the ball in play again for Penn State.
Too strong from McClure. And now a couple of points registering on the scoreboard for Penn State. And can the 11 seed find a big run here? Gray to Plummer out of the back row, smacking it down.
I was going to say, if there is a rotation where perhaps Stanford could run into trouble, could it be this one? But absolutely not, as Jenna Gray spreads the offense from antenna to antenna and then hangs one up right in the middle for Catherine Plummer, who rarely gets an opportunity against such a number of blockers there waiting on her.
Here's Lauren Clark. Again, the roll shot. Catherine Plummer with 22 kills tonight.
And because of her ability to go up over the block, she can roll that ball right into the center of the court. Just leave the defense on their feet.
Kept alive. Great effort by Gabby Blossom. Blossom with heads up, and so was Kendall White right there. Tooling the block. Lauren Clark, get fired up if you're a Nittany Lion fan.
Lauren Clark, a freshman, happened to grow up in a hurry against the defending champions. That was a beautiful swing.
Just a freshman, but a good kill there. And now points away from moving on and advancing to the national semifinals. And we've talked at length, Missy, just about the Stanford senior class, what they did as freshmen, a 6 seed going in. They'd say, well, who would have given them a chance or a thought? They believed, and were they ever special, and now they can close out their careers as a Cardinal with another shot at doing so.
And of course, last year they were the #1 overall seed and the first #1 overall seed to win since 2009. This year, yet another situation, as now they're not the #1 seed, they're not an unseeded top seed. They're trying to do it a whole nother way.
Match point for the defending national champions. Caitlin Hoard keeps it going, staving off the match point.
Not yet, says Hoard. Penn State doing what they do best, find an offense out of the middle.
Lauren Clark on the serve. Bump set from Hintz.